Hi, I'm Kier. I'll be presenting my final project in this video. My focus this semester is avatars. I'm very fascinated by the fact that in Unreal, some physical limitations of human beings can always be broken. Avatars can be twisted, transformed, morphed, playing various roles in different settings. The topic of my project is called the circus. Although this is still an unfinished project, I'll present the current progress that I have. This project will be mainly 3 parts, and the first part is called The Falling Man. In this constructed box, avatars will fall from the top to the ground, falling into a part. It will also be a huge group of people fall at the same time, and gradually I want this box to become full of body parts. Okay, now let's have a look at other parts in this circus. The second part is called They Are Running. This is the part that I spend most of my time and also struggle the most. This is what the animation looked like when I hit play. This effect is inspired by a piece of photograph from one of my favorite photographers. 2 men running towards each other, and when they meet and cross, they become inseparable, even though they have passed and is now back to back. Their skins have become like a hidden linkage, thus making them become like an entity. Maybe they don't even notice or realize that. The blueprint for this animation part is actually really messy. I think part of the reason is I can't write the for loop in the blueprint. So I just caught the individual cable and then the trigger box in the blueprint, so they look really chunky and a little bit messy. Here is the intermission, and basically this is just a red tunnel that I created for audience to walk. The final version that I want is that people can follow this tunnel and go to each of the part like one by one. The place that we now entering is the final part called Body Bomb. This big red space is originally a floor. I enlarged it and applied some texture to it. And then surprisingly, I found this become a magical space. Every destructible mesh that I put in will eventually turn into those vibrating chunks, just like a bomb, like a body bomb. And I really like the fact that how they are automatically aligned to a wall of the chunks. And then later on, I'd also experiment with putting a lot of the destructible meshes together and to see how it would turn out in this red space. And it actually turned out great. I like the feeling that it's messy and chaotic. And later on, I put even more of the avatars. I was trying to like fill the entire space with those meshes. And this is the effect when I hit play. There is actually nothing. I think the system may be crashed, or these plays just cannot hold that much of the chunks. That's why when the amount of the avatars are too many, it just becomes empty. Okay, so this is a recap of my circus. This is the first part of the Falling Man. The second part, They Are Running. and this is the red tunnel the audiences will be walking into. And finally, the last part where those meshes are just become crazy. I also like the fact that they automatically align into a wall and they just staying there in the relatively fixed position, vibrating. They were not just like being everywhere. Yeah, the hand is, I just like the effect. I also found it's really interesting that if you go to the bottom of the floor, there are parts that are falling. So when they leave the space, they become gravityless. So they just fall from the top to the bottom. Okay, so that's basically it. My cursor is writing bye-bye to you guys. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. And then a special thank you to Vector, who gave me a lot of the support, especially during the Running Man part, because I got no experience in blueprints and very little amount of the coding experience before. I really appreciate all the help that he gave me.